We approach the border with Guatemala under military escort. This part of Chiapas is the heart of a turf war between Mexico's two most powerful cartels. Signs of violence are all around. Buildings scarred by large caliber bullets and abandoned houses. Roadblocks previously controlled by criminal groups have given way to army checkpoints. Their presence brings relative calm. Lorries, which cartels use to smuggle drugs, weapons and migrants, are systematically checked.
They build false floors into the trucks. Sometimes they hide migrants behind products. All the migrants that pass through here these days do so via human traffickers.
We arrive in the municipality of Frontera Comalapa. The Sinaloa Cartel entered here triumphantly a few weeks ago after dislodging their rivals, Jalisco Nueva Generacion. In these images, heavily armed men parade through the streets while locals applaud. This scene takes place just a few kilometers from where the National Guard was stationed.
Was there a security breach?
No, I wouldn't say that. We're constantly moving around this area that we're assigned to. Sometimes when we arrive in conflict areas, the organized criminal groups don't wait for us. They hide or retreat.
Since the 29th of September, nearly 800 soldiers have been deployed here to restore order. While the soldiers are here to bring calm to the situation, the town remains unsettled. Our camera makes people nervous.
No, there's nothing to ask. I don't know anything. Everything's fine here. Everything is fine.
Are you afraid that the same thing will happen again if the army pulls out?
Yes, I think so, because things are very tense here. People are afraid. Outsiders don't come here anymore. It's very sad for the people here.
3 hours from this border area lies San Cristobal de las Casas, a colonial city nestled in the mountains. The pearl of the state is popular with tourists, but isn't spared from the growing insecurity. Near the market in the north of the town, armed groups recently faced off with heavy weaponry during the night. There were no casualties this time. The next morning, anguished traders opened their stalls.
We locked the door and stayed at home. We weren't going to head out while shots were being fired. The whole thing lasted 20 minutes.
Were you scared?
Yes, of course. I didn't want to open my store this morning, but all my produce is here.
The first time there was a shooting was almost a year ago. That's when it started.
In the historic city centre, tourists brush off the shooting.
We didn't hear anything.
We're here for 2 days. This evening we'll sleep in the town, and tomorrow we take the bus to Palenque.
I'd heard that the security situation was a bit less stable than it was, but I was told there's nothing to worry about as a tourist.
European tourists are drawn to Chiapas largely because of the legacy of the Zapatista movement. In 1994, an armed insurrection led by Subcomandante Marcos seized several towns and demanded autonomy for indigenous people.
Para obtener el reconocimiento constitucional de los derechos y la cultura indígena.
29 years later, and the radical left movement has just announced it will disband some of its political structures in the face of the rising violence. In Mexico's poorest region, indigenous communities regularly clash. Sometimes conflicts end fatally. Catarina was expelled from her village along with 54 families 6 years ago, following a run-in with the new local government. She has lived in these huts ever since.
They shot at us. Unfortunately, 2 people died, including my uncle, Don Guadalupe. The pain is still there. The heart never heals completely. I still feel his loss.
Soldiers, paramilitaries, and political movements. A social fabric in which organized crime can embed and grow.
One of the cartel strategies is to co-opt the region's organizations. They focus on the border regions in particular. They want to extort and threaten, but they also want to build a social base.
Chiapas has a complex geography and a thorny political history. The state is fertile ground for sowing terror with impunity. Over the last 2 years, 7,500 people have been displaced.